Welcome to Backyard Family Fun, the podcast from Pride Pools, Spas, and Leisure Products. In Claxton and Savannah, Georgia, this family-owned business has spent decades helping create memories that last a lifetime. Whether you're a pool owner, a spa lover, or just looking to turn your outdoor space into a true retreat, we've got you covered right here on the Backyard Family Fun podcast. Welcome back to Backyard Family Fun, brought to you by Pride Pools, Spas, and Leisure Products. I'm Dee Daniels, sitting in the Savannah location of Pride Pools and hanging out with Marshall Smith to answer all of your pool and spa questions. We get a lot of questions, and they're great questions, and we want to make sure we get all those answered. Marshall, always good to sit down with you.
Absolutely, Dee. As always, it's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to talking about some of these things that I think people tend to overlook. And so I think if we can answer some of these quality questions that our consumers have, and listeners have, that they'll be happier and glad they listened.
Absolutely. And just overall, I mean, goodness, here we are in May feeling like we're in a brighter mood already because of just the weather, and we're ready for the Backyard Family Fun.
Well, you know, Southeast Georgia always typically brings us some pretty warm weather by the 1st of May. I know that it can be unpredictable in March and April, but by the time May comes around, it's usually full tilt, and we're answering a lot of questions and going through a lot of things to address certain things about pool care. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'm excited. Thank goodness that we're here, and looking forward to an awesome season.
No doubt about it. I'd love to start off kind of with one of the really big topics, and we hear a lot of questions around this, and that's pool maintenance. And there are some really key pillars, but I know that a lot of people come to the table and just say, what should my pool maintenance routine look like? Maybe I didn't do it as great as I could have done it last year, and I want to do it right this year.
Sure. Well, and you know, just to reemphasize, we also offer maintenance programs, and so we have that available if somebody's interested in us coming out and doing service or maintenance on their swimming pool on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or every other week or however they want to set it up. But that being said, if you're the DIYer, I would tell you that the pool maintenance piece is really pretty easy if you just kind of keep your thumb on it. And it's pretty simple. You've got 3 key components. Always remember, if you've got good circulation, good filtration, and a solid foundation of chemistry in your pool, it's always going to look good. And I just think that people tend to overthink sometimes their swimming pool and what is required. But as I pointed out, there are 3 key components: circulation, filtration, and chemistry. And there's some others that go along with that as well, but those are the big 3. And if you will take those 3 things and focus on that, your pool will always look fantastic.
No doubt about it. Just within those 3, could we just talk about a couple things like,
Sure.
You know, circulation? Obviously, what we're looking at with that is we want to keep the water moving.
That's right.
We don't want things to get stagnant.
That's right. That's exactly right. So good circulation means that water is being turned over. In other words, we're moving it so it's not stagnant, it's not stale. And as it's moving, it's kind of like the theory is a rolling stone gathers no moss. That's the kind of theory. It's like if you're moving that water, it's not going to get stagnant. First and foremost, you're kind of getting rid of the idea that you could get, maybe algae growth. That's not the only thing that's going to keep that away, because the filtration piece is important too.
Right.
But if you're circulating that water, in other words, you've got to run that pump. Done the math over the years, and we check it every year. And based on volume of water, based on the energy consumption, you will spend more money in the chemicals to fix a problem than it is to just circulate the water. If you'll just do that with the energy consumption, you'll be happier. But yeah, circulation is first and foremost.
So on to the second pillar, which is filtration. I'm not sure it's an easy answer, but like, how do I know I've got good filtration?
Great question. There are 2 filtration modes that we deal with the most. Sand being number 1, sand filtration, and then cartridge filtration. However, there's a third filtration media that is in the marketplace that we don't come across a lot of it, but diatomaceous earth, or DE filtration, is the third method that is traditionally used on in-ground residential or commercial swimming pools. So sand is one. That's number one. We do more sand filtration than any. Then cartridge filtration, and then diatomaceous earth or short DE filtration is the third that we run across. All three are very effective. All three I would recommend for any type of commercial or residential environment. However, when it comes to the ease of maintenance, sand filtration is the way to go, because sand filtration is going to give you the filtration micron we're looking for. However, when it comes time to clean that sand, it's the easiest way to clean. So so we're going to filter either through sand filtration and or cartridge filtration, and possibly the DE filtration.
Yeah, no, totally makes sense. And I feel like, if we've got a good idea around, this is what I'm shooting for. I want this good mark. Okay, this is what I need to look at.
That's
and
right.
The third pillar is chemistry, which we're going to talk a little bit more about shortly. But just on the quick side of chemistry, we're looking for two things: balanced and sanitized. Correct?
That's right. Exactly. So we'll back up and recap the first two. So circulation means that the pump is running, and the pump is running, it's being filtered. So if you're circulating, then that means you're more than likely you are filtering. And if you're filtering and the water's moving, then hopefully if you've got some form of auto sanitation system, whether it be the frog system, which is a mineral-based system, or if you're just doing chlorine sticks in the skimmer, or if you're a salt person who's using salt for their pool for sanitation, that means if the pump is running, that means the pool is filtering and it's being automatically sanitized. So as you can see, it starts with circulation. If you don't have the pump working, none of the other stuff is going to work.
That's right.
None of the other stuff works. So circulation is number one, filtration is number two, and then chemistry is number three. So yes, we look at chemistry two ways, as you just mentioned. We look at it as balancing and sanitizing, which they go hand in hand, but when we look at it from a balanced perspective, people need to understand that there's the chemical makeup of your water has pH, it has calcium hardness, it has total alkalinity, and you also want to make sure you look for any foreign metals that could be in the water, and so we're testing for that as well. So you've got balancing, which is important, and then you've got your sanitizing, which is what you said. So you've got two different platforms that we're working with. The sanitation part is basically a three-step system. We want to sanitize, we want to oxidize, and we also want to use some form of algae treatment, which is kind of unique. And when I tell people about that piece of it, is that they're like, well, how does the algaecide work? Well, it's interesting. It puts more oxygen in the water, makes it wetter. It makes water wetter.
Wow.
Can you make water wetter? It's interesting. Yeah,
it
is.
You
can. It puts more oxygen in the water. And so what it does, it enhances your shocks, your sanitizers, your trichlors or your dichlors, and then it also enhances any cal hypos that you're using in your pool. So sanitization, oxidation, and a form of algae treatment. You do that three-step program, you're there. You're gonna have crystal clear, beautiful backyard family fun.
No doubt about it. And I can see how all those three pillars really work together.
They do.
And they really, talking about them separately, obviously to understand it, but man, they all really are in sync with each other. Could be.
They are. And so we started off on the right foot. Was in our topic today, we talk about circulation, filtration, and then the chemistry in that order. If you're doing the circulation, you're going to get the filtration. If you get the filtration, you're going to get the chemistry if you're applying as needed. So the big three, if we're doing that, and I'm telling you, it is fundamentally simple, and it's not that expensive. It really isn't.
Yeah.
So again, having a pool, there's always that cost association. Having a car, there's a cost association, no different. And so, the cost association is not as much as you may think it is.
Well,
just keep your thumb on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We love all these questions, and we love being able to really get right to the heart of it.
Sure.
One of the topics we hear a lot about, a word that we hear thrown around a lot is what about, do I need to shock my pool? How often? What does that mean exactly? I hear people throw that shock my pool phrase around a lot. Why do I need to do it? When do I need to do it?
Let's do this. Let's get the term shock. Let's get it defined. No, we're not scaring your pool.
Yes, yes.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to sanitize your pool.
Yes.
Excuse me. Shocking is oxidizing.
Right,
So if
right.
we're shocking, that means we're oxidizing the water. Yes. The answer to that question is yes, yes, and yes. If you are an in-ground or above-ground pool owner, that water needs to be oxidized or shocked periodically. Two things. Depends on bather load. Depends on the environment the pool is in. We talk a lot about that, about how, one neighbor versus the next neighbor, this person has, oak trees in their backyard. The other guy's got pine trees in his backyard. The dynamic of the water is going to be different in both those yards. It's just going to be different. So what we have to do is recognize that, make sure people understand that, and treat it as such. Either way, it doesn't matter if you've got pine trees or if you've got oak trees. At some point along the way, you're going to have a ton of pollen. So you're going to be wanting to oxidize that early spring. Once you're getting that, obviously you're oxidizing or shocking the pool to help neutralize and get rid of some of that. And so essentially what it's doing is it's getting rid of, as the season goes on, you're going to oxidize the water from the bather load perspective, meaning that if you get a heavy bather load, the more you should shock the pool. Fresh water, as you're adding fresh water, you should always treat it with some form of oxidation. So yeah, very key component in good proper pool care is shocking the pool. Again, we're oxidizing the water after either a heavy bather load, or if we've got contaminants that are from nature and Mother Nature and contaminants in the pool, you want to try to oxidize that material so it'll filter out, and you can then backwash and do whatever you need to do to get rid of it. So yeah, shocking is an essential piece to good, healthy, crystal clear water.
Yeah, and I think too, to be able to, pick up the phone and call Pride Pools and say, hey, here's my scenario. We've got this amount of kids in the pool all the time,
Right?
like every few days,
Right.
And this is what I've got going on. Help me out with my shock maintenance, right?
Good idea. Good point. And so, how much repetition? What are we looking at? What does the schedule look like on shocking? So that's a great question. Again, I think it goes back at what we were just talking about. It depends on the bather load. Depends on the volume of water that you have as well. How big a pool do you have? So it can dictate what or how often you should. What we do as a rule of thumb, you should shock no fewer than every 2 weeks. No fewer than every 2 weeks.
Okay.
You should be putting a dose of shock in the pool in your season, in the season, right? So if you're from, say, here in Southeast Georgia, we're from, say, April 1 until October 1, you should probably be doing every other week. You get past that, then you could probably reel that into once a month because the bather loads are going to be much less. Also, the contaminants, you're going to get those fall leaves, and you're going to get those things that are happening in that, September, October, November. So you may want to stay until 1st of November with the every other week in the shocking or the oxidation part every 2 weeks. And then you can pull back on that and do once a month for about 4 or 5 months out of the year.
Yeah,
So
makes sense. Totally. Another word we hear a lot and want to make sure we understand and get questions around this is pH. When it comes to the pH level, talk to me like I'm, 5 here,
Okay,
so
sure.
I can get it here, so I can get it. But is there an ideal pH level
Sure,
for the
there is.
pool, and why does that matter so much?
Yes, great question. Yes and yes. There is an ideal, what we call an ideal range for what we call pool or spa water would be anywhere from 7.2 to 7.6 would be the ideal range. Some folks may say set up to 7.8. I'm personally, just with my experience with in-ground pools or above ground pools or spas or whatever, I tend to run it a little on the lighter side, 7.4, 7.6, no more than 7.6. Traditionally, for me, 7.4 makes more sense for two reasons. The makeup of that is still usually conducive to the human skin. To you get into the pool or you get into the spa, 7.4 is still friendly to your skin. You start getting 7.0 or less, the water becomes more acidic, and that could be not as friendly. And the term we use, acidic, means that you're not swimming in a body of acid. It's just that the water is a little more acidic, and it may not be as pleasant to your skin. So 7.4 gives you the ideal number because it's pleasant to you, and we've got a little acid in it, so it helps be a little more effective in treating the pool when it comes to time to shock it and or to apply any balancing chemicals. So what I found is the 7.4 to be the sweet spot when it comes to good, crystal clear backyard family fun.
Absolutely.
So that is the key. Again, 7.2 to up to 7.8 works and will be good for most pool environments in our area, in this Southeast Georgia, or in this region that we're in. But I would say that 7.4, in my experience, is the ideal range to be at. So yes, pH is a crucial part to proper pool care, and I would suggest, as important as anything when it comes to longevity of equipment. pH is having it in that sweet spot of 7.4 also is going to give you the maximum length in that pump life, in that Marcite or gunite life or vinyl life or fiberglass life, depending on what type of vessel that you have water in. So I would say that if you're going to look at your investment and know that water chemistry is number 3 on that scale of importance and priority to your good pool care, pH should be the number 1 part of the chemistry.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, the way you're explaining it, I'm realizing how much it affects so many things. Too high, too low
That's right.
on the pH could even affect what the water looks like,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
There's that,
from a clarity perspective.
that's that
right.
cloudiness that some people talk about. That's the pH.
It could be because it's usually probably high.
Right.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all making sense now.
Sure.
All making sense now.
All comes together. And again, there's multiple pieces to that.
Yeah.
But the pH is the driver.
Yep, absolutely. That leads me to getting our water tested. We talk about that a lot.
Sure.
Some of the questions, and we even have a bottle sitting in front of us right now, which I think is really important, because how much water do we need to get tested? What type of container should we put it in? Where do we take it from in the pool, in the body of water?
That part of that question, Dee, the third part is sometimes the most important part, because a lot of times people don't realize that they just walk out there and just grab some water out of the pool, and they're using the Diet Coke bottle that they used, that they drank out of last night, and it's like, wait a minute. All right, 2 faux pas right there. We've just messed up. So yes, those are excellent questions. Here's the thing. For us to get the most accurate result for our consumer, for our customers who we love and want to make sure that they are happy pool owners, is we've got, and we provide it no charge. We have your own personalized water sample bottle waiting on you here. So if for some reason you don't have one, come in and get it. We'll private label it for you. We'll put your name on it. It's got our name on it. It's important to, you can put the volume of your pool on there. You can say if you're, on chlorine, if you're on, biguanide, if you're on salt or whatever on the bottle. And it gives us a description of kind of what that makeup or what the water, what it came out of. So to answer your initial question, yes, we want a clean bottle. In other words, we prefer not to get the Diet Coke bottle. We prefer not to get the mason jar. But if we do get those, please clean those bottles with either some Dawn dishwashing detergent or anything that's going to sanitize that particular apparatus that you're going to use.
Yeah.
Get it clean. Make sure we get all the residue off of it, because we want a good, clean environment. So when the water comes out of that pool or spa, that's what we're testing, not something else, right?
Yes, yes.
So we want a good, clean vessel, a good, clean device to put the water in. We have water sample bottles. Come in and get them. We've got them. Utilize them to your benefit. And so the other part of what you asked was, where do we pull the water from?
Where
That's
do
a great
we get
question.
it?
So if we're in a pool, well, let's go with the spa.
Okay.
Traditionally, and again, that's going to be a segment I think we can dive into, no pun intended,
right,
at a later time. But spa water chemistry is the dynamic there is a little bit different, and so I would tell you that when you're talking about warm water or even hot water, the makeup changes. So I don't want to confuse consumers that when you test the spa and if you're testing the pool, that you're treating them the same. You cannot, because typically when you're testing the water of a spa, the water temperature is always higher.
Right.
And so the breakdown of the chemistry in the spa is going to be different. So if you're going to pull the water out of a spa, you want to go to the center.
Okay.
To the center, and you want to go elbows length.
Ah, okay.
Elbows length in the very center of the spa to get a true kind of defined space where you should get a good clean sample.
Right.
For the spa. The pool, you want to be opposite of the returns. In other words, the water where comes back into the pool, where it's moving the water, you want to get opposite of that.
Okay.
Get opposite of that. Again, elbows length. What you're going to get is as you can see, this is roughly a pint. This is about 16 ounces. We don't need that much. We don't need 16 ounces, but what we do need is at least, we probably need at least 8 ounces to get a good solid. And plus, it gives us a little extra to get a backup in case that first sample doesn't run. We have enough water to test it a second time if we need to. So I would say a good 8 ounces, it would give us a good sample up to 16 ounces. So between 8 and 16 ounces is a good number.
So don't take my old spice container that's tiny and dip that in. That's not enough water. Plus, it's not the right vessel.
That's exactly right. We're not going to probably get a good reading on that one. So
yeah, absolutely. And what I love too about when I walk in and get the safe bottle that's my own bottle from Pride Pools, it also reminds me of the instructions on the back.
It does.
I don't forget what I need to do. I like that part too. I really do.
So back to referencing the water sample bottle, absolutely, as we were just discussing, you were just pointing out the directions are on the back of the bottle and how to retrieve that sample. So that means if you don't have one, come see us and get one.
Yeah, either location, Savannah or Claxton, you can pick those up. And then drop them off anytime, which I love too.
Great point, Dee. I'm glad you brought that up. We have water sample boxes that are mounted outside of each door in each location, so that if you are on your way to work and we're not open yet, and say if it's 6:30, 7:30, 8:30 in the morning, whatever, we open at 9. Feel free. You can bring the sample, drop it off, put it in the water sample box. We'll pull it out. When we get here, we'll have it tested. You make that phone call and we discuss what all is needed. And then you come by after work and we've got you ready to go.
I love that. I mean, honestly, Marshall, that's one of the things I love the most about Pride Pools is like walking in, being able to drop it off at the door before you even open, stuff like that. And then you really are just trying to make it easier on everyone, giving you all this information, trying to make like this summer for you as easy and fun and maintenance free really as 100%, possible.
100%. Everything that we do has that theory behind it. We're trying to keep things simple and easy so that you have more fun. Backyard family fun is who we are, and we want to make sure you can have as much of it.
Yeah, well, I know we always have great questions coming in. I'm sure we'll have another segment coming up soon that is going to really get to more questions because we've got questions.
We get they're usually more than we usually can anticipate. But I'll say that I think based on what we've just discussed, those are some of the most frequent questions we get. So yeah, I think making sure we can answer those and get that information disseminated to our listeners is an important piece. So I'm always glad to sit down and do this.
Yeah, and it really is always, I learn something every time we sit down, Marshall. I appreciate it.
I enjoy it
so much. And don't forget, if you have questions, there's a link and an email. It's info@pridepools.com. It's right in the show notes of this episode that you're listening to. So we try to make that easy for you too. Marshall, always a good time. Thank you.
Having a blast. Thank you, Dee. Look forward to seeing you in the future.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Thanks for listening. Come by and meet your local pool and spa experts in Claxton on Highway 280 West or in Savannah on Gateway Boulevard South, or go to pridepools.com. If you love backyard family fun as much as we do, be sure to give us a rating and review and subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. And if you have a question or topic you'd love for us to cover, drop us an email, info@pridepools.com. or tap the links for Facebook or Instagram in the show notes of this episode. We'd love to hear from you. Now let's go make a splash and have some backyard family fun.
Pride Pools.